6 was 104 years old.
Oh my.
And I have lived there for 7 years. And when I came back from Holland, she was alive. And then that year, in 1966, she died.
Oh. What is your favorite memory of her?
She was very talented to tell stories about her places where she lived in India. When she married with her husband, the husband came to Suriname. After 5 years contract period, he went back to India, take his bride, and come again to Suriname.
Ah.
And when she came to Suriname, she was 18 years old.
So she was already married to him.
Yes, I was married in India.
Uh-huh.
My grandfather came to Suriname,
Worked
went
there.
5 years, and went back to India, take her back to Suriname.
So she got married at the age of about 13.
She was young, 10 about.
10.
And when she came to Suriname, she was born in 1862, and she came to Suriname in 1889. She was 67 years old.
Very nice. What did she do that we don't see anymore? What did she wear? What was her habit?
What the clothing,
Yeah.
orni, blouses, langa, all body was kept closed.
Blouse and skirts.
Yes,
Long skirts.
and after the husband died, she had white clothes already, only white.
Always.
In 1928, her husband died, and she never remarried. She stayed with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
with my grandfather,
Mm-hmm.
till she died.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went in Paramaribo to the secondary modern school, to the college.
Mm-hmm.
And after finishing the college, I have worked for 2 years at the Department of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Holland for studying law and notary public law.
Mm-hmm.
And thereafter, and there, in the period I met her in Holland,
Ah.
we get married there.
Uh-huh.
When she was finished her study
Mhm.
in the
Health.
then we had decided when she finished her study, we are going to marry.
So you were studying health,
Yeah.
doctorate
Nursing.
or nursing?
No, a nurse.
And you were working at the time of your marriage?
No, just
No.
Just studied.
study. After study, we had decided to get married after she ended her study. And then we married.
And the kids coming,
Now we had planned to have 5 kids.
5
I
kids
like to have 6. She liked to have 4.
in 5 years.
It's 5.5 years,
5 years.
5 kids.
So that was the end of your nursing. You were nursing at home.
Yeah.
She was the manager of the household.
I see.
She still is.
She still is.
5
Very
kids
good.
to bring up. But you said before, we came from a very big family. I'm the eldest of 14.
Wow.
It's huge.
And that's why I came back to Suriname to help my parents to bring up all my brothers and sisters.
Very nice. So when you came back, how long did it take you before you got a job?
Poor Belgium.
When you came back,
Yes.
did you have a job arranged for you, or did you have to wait
When I
a
came
period?
back, I was a lawyer. I became a lawyer
Mhm.
in a few days. Was lawyers for 3 years.
Mhm.
And then I became notary public.
Right?
We have other side of notary down in Trinidad.
Yeah.
He's a notary public. It's a nomination from the government, lifetime nomination. It is not allowed to be a lawyer and notary together.
I see.
And judge and notary together is not allowed.
Right. So then you became a judge.
I was notary for about 9 years,
Mhm.
but you can be part-time judge as a notary.
I see.
Because I started as a part-time judge
Mhm.
2 years. And then I became full-time judge. That I have done for 27 years.
Wow. Were you very, very happy in that role?
Yes, was always happy. And notary
Yeah.
public work was not so interesting for me. It was not interesting. That's why I left the notary public job and I became a judge. But in the same time, I was a lecturer at the university.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, yeah. Lecturer.
Anton
Yes, under the University.
Mm-hmm.
Just I had both part-time lecturer and full-time judge. And the full-time householding, see, I was a full-time householding, the manager. 5 kids to bring up, we have to do together. And when the kids were they had their college, they had finished their college, we sent all the 5 together to Holland for study.
Ah,
In 1 year.
Yeah, in 1 month, all the 5 went to Holland.
wow. How did that affect you? Now, I mean, you gave your whole life to them from the time you got married. How did that affect you?
Well, it was,
Very sad for a whole year.
yeah,
She went with the girls to Holland. She stayed with the girls. The boys came there. And after about 1.5 months, I went to Holland and we came back together to Suriname. And then the whole house was
Empty.
empty.
Quiet.
And she had very problem in the first 2 weeks. Thereafter, I can go in
yeah, so
Slowly.
together,
slowly,
Go,
life
Yeah.
went.
go ahead.
but it's going.
It's going.
I can't leave him alone. Huh?
I said,
So-
you can leave me alone, but if I replace someone other, not a problem. I'm going not so alone in this big house,
Okay.
but no, she stayed already. And my grandparents came to Suriname from India. The parents of my grandfather. And my grandfather's father was a kid of 2 years old when he arrived in Suriname.
2 years old.
Yes. And his wife was from India to Suriname too, and they get married here after the 5 years period of my grandfather
The immigration. Huh?
immigration.
In the English.
They married here and they had a lot of kids, and that's why the family is so big.
So before I ask you if you have traced your family in India, I want to ask Mama a question. In Trinidad, and I don't know for Guyana, but not many Hindustanis are nurses. Is that the same in Suriname? And if so, why? Not many, majority nurses in Trinidad are blacks.
Here.
Have you observed?
Ik begrijp die vraag
Ja,
niet.
no,
Hij
in-
zegt de meeste mensen hier in Trinidad, de verpleegkundigen zijn Creoolse mensen.
Oh ja,
Maar
ja.
hij is verrast dat u nursing ging doen. Of er veel Hindustanen ook
Ja.
verpleegkundigen zijn hier.
at that time,
Ja.
you have
And no, also, but inderdaad, the black people more than the other one. Why? I don't know why they find it too heavy to do when you have to help another, maybe then too heavy.
But what motivated you to become a nurse?
Well, I like the job and I was at school, but I think I can do this also. So you have people from Holland came here and
the nurses were.
nurse zocht, they looking for
Nurses.
nurses.
There was a
and
demand
other-
at the time for
Yes.
nurses.
So I go to Dr. Braaksma and my father don't like it. He say no,
Why? Why did he not like it?
no, a girl so far, no family. I had family there, but so far away you don't know what can be with her. Huh?
Right.
But everything was my elder sister. She's no more.
Mhm.
She helped me. And
Mhm.
she said to my father, let's see go. Yeah, and I had a niece,
Cousin.
a cousin, and he stay with us
Thank you.
when he go in Paramaribo to school. He was from Nikeri.
Mhm.
And I write him, he say, come, I take care of you. But We left in the
The
in
hospital.
the hospital. There was for all the people,
Right.
and it was
It was good.
It was
Yes.
good.
So how did the two of you meet?
Her sister was married to a cousin of my father, Sitaram.
Another sister.
And we lived together in Utrecht.
In Utrecht?
Yes. I was studying in Utrecht, he too,
Okay.
Sitaram, her brother-in-law. And then we have met each other.
Ah,
And then after a few months,
you liked her
we
immediately.
decided,
You liked her immediately.
she was my aunt in the beginning. But Sitaram was a cousin of my father, and his wife was my aunt. Just her sister's aunt was aunt. But we changed it in wife and husband.
Yes. And you had no problem with him.
Oh, you have
Before marriage, we had known each other for about 2 years. And then we get married in Holland. Very small.
Very
Right.
small. Hindu ceremony?
Yes, we
have two pandits.
two priests from Suriname.
Why two pandits?
They was visiting India and they were coming back to Suriname and they stayed a few weeks in Holland. And we make use of the opportunity to get married on my birthday on the Hindu ceremony,
6th
there we
of
go.
August.
6th of August.
So how was your marriage ceremony in Holland different from a marriage ceremony back here? How
The
was
same
it?
ceremony, but very small.
Small, I think 4 or 6 people, no more.
No, we had not so big family there, but we organized the marriage in a few hours. The next day was the marriage.
Wow.
And I take the bride by train from Utrecht to The Hague, and there we get married.
So it was a very modern kind of wedding.
Yes, sir. Her brother went together with us. And he did the Kanyadan.
I see. So when you eventually returned to Suriname as a couple, did you have to do any rituals or anything for the family?
Yes. When we came back, my mother as Dulahin with a thali. That was when we came back to home. And the next day we had a ceremony.
Ah, big wedding.
Yes. No, not wedding, but puja, katha puja.
Puja.
It's a
Right.
big family, huh?
But when it was big, it was together there. And then we had the ceremony, katha and puja.
Okay.
And
So you had to wear the sari, red sari and your
Yeah,
sari
yeah.
and
And
everything.
my eldest, one daughter, the
Mhm.
eldest one born in
in Holland.
Utrecht.
Uh-huh.
Indra
Uh-huh.
was born in Utrecht,
Utrecht.
was 15 months old when he came to Suriname.
And she
And Radha,
was-
she was, yeah,
She was coming.
Very interesting.
So the
Yes.
doctor gave me the permit to
to
Hi.
travel.
travel. Other
Otherwise, you
when
couldn't.
it's too far, you can
It
go.
was the last day that we could travel to Suriname, the 21st of May, 1966.
Very nice. Okay.
And she is from July.
4th of July,
4th of
born
July.
4th of July, 1966. And after a few days, my grandmother, Matagari, died.
Oh, I see. So you had the opportunity though to meet his grandmother.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
What was that like?
She was blind, huh? She couldn't, but
Not
we can
total
talk
blind.
to her.
But so it was, could see something.
And she say, I'm very to see his wife. That's the opportunity I had, and I can go now.
Oh,
And
she's
She
waiting.
made I had to promise her when I went to Holland.
Mhm.
She went to the ship and see where I'm going to rest in the ship. My cabin. She
Mhm.
saw it without shoes. And she was 99 years old.
Hmm.
And she say, listen, I'm not going to die. Before you come back to Suriname, I have to see your child. I have lived for 5 generations. And After that, she know, daughter, 5 weeks later, she died. She said, my life is fulfilled. I have no
She can go
wishes
now.
more. I can die.
Yeah, she can do. Huh, yes. So did you ever return to India to meet her family?
Yes, we went 14 times to India. She 13 times, I 14 times. And we had a uncle, a cousin of my father, living in Delhi. In New Delhi, he was working at the airport of New Delhi. And we have several times when we go to India, we met him.
Yeah.
We go to the family, they cook for us, we eat, we talk a lot. And in 1970, my uncle, cousin of my father, come to Suriname.
Mhm. From India.
Yes,
First time he's coming
first
to
time.
Trinidad.
But only
Suriname.
once. He never came back.
Oh, I see.
But we had always contact with him when we were in Holland, in India, in New Delhi. When we traveled to India, we have traveled a lot of parts of India, but Delhi was the place we start and we stop.
Right.
And then we visit him, and my auntie is living now. She's alive.
Mhm. Did you ever go back to the village?
No, I didn't go back or too far.
Do you know where it is?
Yes, but now they have roads to go to the
To go
family.
there.
And my younger brother, Bhagwan, went to the
Bhagwan.
family.
Yes.
My parents went to the family,
Oh, they did?
both families.
Yeah, yeah.
My mother is Burma Tewari and my father Gangana Pandi. And they visited both families in Bihar, Burma Tewari family, and in Uttar Pradesh, Gangana Pandi family. Not so far from each other.
Mm.
The border. And my grandfather went to the family too,
Mhm.
and my younger brother.
Mhm. And were you able to trace back your family in India as well?
No, I don't. We never go.
We have no
Look for
connection.
No
We have
connection.
letters from the family.
Yeah.
You
We
did?
know the address.
Yeah,
We see have no connection with the family in India.
I see.
Never.
Okay. Is that something you want to pursue?
So,
It's not important because
No,
you met the
but-
family.
and the character of them are different from us.
There are other style of living in India.
Yeah.
We have
When I'm there, I feel good, but not one of them.
we are not Indians. We are Surinamese from Indian origin.
And the Indian, I feel it so. We have a lot of Sindhis here,
Cindy's.
Sindhis,
Mhm.
and they feel there are higher
Superior.
than the
Period.
people here. So you have friends, but not too close.
Mhm.
Sometime when you have a ceremony, they have something and they call you, you can go.
Mhm.
It's nice, but not so like.
You are not one of them.
Yes. Yeah,
I don't feel one of them.
I
But the
agree.
ladies have more problem with that than we.
Hey, ma,
So when you went, you felt more comfortable.
Yeah, no, she too. But
I too, but I don't like the style of living from her.
Mhm. What would you change about their style of living?
The kids.
The kids.
Yeah, they never body share this. When the kids do something, they everything is good. Let them do, let them do.
Oh,
But
they look for that.
we have kids and they do something. No, not do that. Talk better with all the best they do.
yes, you
nothing.
just let them do whatever they
let
want.
them do, yeah, yeah.
Right.
And so you have a lot of things you can say it no, but a lot of things.
Right.
So I don't feel one of them. Never.
Mhm.
But we have friends, good friends also.
We have large friends in Mumbai,
Mhm.
and then we traveled along with them. But the lifestyle is different.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
But we have some European influence.
That's
Dutch
true.
influence,
Yes,
as you have English influence in Trinidad,
yes,
we have Dutch influence in Suriname too.
Yeah,
yes. So that probably influenced how
Yes.
you felt about
Yeah.
them.
yeah,
Because you have, according to Dr. Mokam Singh, you have an organized society in the Netherlands and theirs is a little bit disorganized.
Different, yes.
Yeah, they're driving.
Yeah.
You never drive there.
Car driving in India? No, no, no.
so India.
You rent the car with the chauffeur. Not driving. We have driven a car, whole of America, Europe, in South Africa, but
Yeah.
not in India. That's not done.
Mhm.
We have been to Trinidad a few times, but that's far away,
A long time
a
ago.
long time.
Yes.
But in Trinidad, what you find nice or good or bad?
Yes, we went to. I have been a few times to Trinidad. We have met the family Maharaj. We have went to his home too, and you see the differences between the black people and the Indians. Here too, but there you see it.
Yeah, it's more pronounced in Trinidad.
Yeah.
The differences.
Yeah.
Yes.
More when I was there, I feel that
And when was that?
maybe 20 years back.
Okay. So
And it was a Rotary meeting, a Rotary,
Rotary Club.
and we went stay a few days. Rotary, and we have met the Rotarians of all the people from India, blacks, Indians, and we had a very nice time.
Yeah.
You see the differences, but they have other way of living than we have over here. That's not the problem.
Mhm.
I have good friends in here, black people, good friends.
Yeah.
And but you see, lifestyle is totally different. That's not the problem.
Okay.
They have their own lifestyle, and you can mess together, and you go to your. I was a long time Rotarian, about 25 years, and we have all kinds of people in the Rotary. Yeah.
have you visited Guyana? Because I mean, you
Yeah, several
so
times.
close to Nigeria.
Several times. And French Guiana too.
French Guyana. Too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Europe, America, India, 14 times, 13 times. We have traveled a lot.
Can you tell us about French Guyana? Have you met Indians in French Guyana?
Very little, very,
Yeah.
very few,
Very few.
very few.
Hindustani who were born in French Guyana.
No,
No.
not in French Guiana. We have met someone come from the French islands, Martinique, Guadeloupe, to Cayenne,
I see.
French Guiana.
Yeah.
But I have never met people born in French Guiana from Indian origin.
Right. And what were some of the differences that you could identify?
No, they were more Frenchmen than Indian. They adopted French living style. They have
Habits and everything.
no. They have the population was too small to keep your attitudes. It's not possible.
Mhm. And what about Guyana?
Guyana, they have Guyana and Suriname. The difference is that we have the Japanese people and Chinese,
Ah.
and you have no Japanese people there.
Correct.
That's why the differences are. But the Indians, we have about the same lifestyle as Suriname
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in Guyana, and we feel that the tegenstellingen, the contradictions between the black and the Indians are very sharp. Right?
Yeah.
It's not the same as here.
Yeah.
We live here together. Politicians have the problems, but the people together, no problem. We live together as brothers, with the Japanese and the Chinese, all. We went to school with all kinds of people, no problem.
Yeah.
Secondary, modern school, college, university. I have students of all the people of Suriname in the classroom, no problem. But in Guyana, I have felt
Tension.
yes, was more than issue.
Have you ever been victimized in your role as a judge? Have you ever been victimized because you were Hindustani?
No, Never.
Mm.
I had a very good job. Never a problem. No. A lot of the strafzaken, criminal cases was black people, but never a problem. In civil cases, you have all kinds of people, more Hindustanis, more Indians.
More Indian.
In civil cases,
Oh.
they have more position. They fight the cases, the civil cases,
Yeah.
more Indians.
What are some of the problems that bring them to court?
We have when you have property, when you have business, you have problem with business, you go to the court.
What is the issue with the property?
More business
Business.
and business problems,
Yeah.
and you have problems with business parties. Then they went to the judge to give a decision.
So is it like one brother might want to open the business there and another
No,
brother
not
doesn't
all brothers
want to?
alone,
Is that
but business together, businessmen.
businessmen together?
Yeah, they have some problems, and
Yeah.
they cannot fix it together. Then when I was a notary public, I have fixed a lot of problems between them as a notary.
And what were some of those problems that they had to?
We have problems of property, but other kinds of problems too, business problems.
Mhm.
They have to do some. You have given a loan.
Mhm.
You have given a loan, but you don't pay all the money, and they have a problem. You have said to me, "Give me $10,000, and you give me $5, and you ask me 10." Then you put the persons together and say, "Listen, what's the real? Let's make a deal here before going to the judge. Takes a few years and it costs you a lot of money."
Right. Right.
Just as a notary, I started Judicial.
Right. Help me to understand something. In Trinidad and in Guyana, when the indentures came and they first started the land grants, so the land grants for the indentures started in 1869 in Trinidad and Trinidad, right? And at that time, you would get 1 acre of land for every year of indenture that you completed. So if you work for 5 years, that is your normal contract period, you will get 5 acres of land. If you stayed and you re-indentured, you will then get another 5-year period. So you will work for 10 years and then you get 10 acres of land. But I understand that the land grant situation was different in Suriname.
Yes, or different.
Can you tell me how?
My grandparents told me when her parents finished the contract period, they got a piece of land. I do not know how big, in Alkmaar, in Comwene district.
From Wena.
And then they started the family life. Then they started to have kids.
What hell?
And they 100 Dutch rupees, Dutch guilders per person.
So they got the land and they got some
And
money.
yes, 100 guilders was a very big amount of money at that time.
Mhm.
And they got my grandfather, grandfather, and grandmother. They got 100 rupees, Dutch
So
guilders,
200.
200,
guilders.
and this a piece of land.
Right.
And there they started their life. That my grandmother told me.
Right. Were they given more land after that, or did they have to
No,
buy more land?
what they have did, they started their life. They have 2 boys and 4 daughters, all born in Alkmaar, and then they bought a piece of land where Matagauri is in the state of Suriname. Now it's Paramaribo. 10 acres, 10 hectare. Is it hectare? Acre, yes. 10 acres they bought
Mhm.
from people they went back to Holland.
Mhm.
We call it Holland Buru. They were people from Holland.
The white one.
They was here coming. They had
The Dutch.
here, but they went back to Holland. They sold their land to my grandparents, Matagauri and her husband.
Right. So when they received the first land grant, what did they do on the land? Did they cultivate it?
Agriculture, yes. Agriculture,
Mhm.
tuinbouw, how we call it?
Vegetables,
Vegetables, yes.
all kind of
provision.
fruits, all kind of fruits. My grandfather and vegetables. They started May and they had a shop.
What a shop.
A shop. Later they had a shop. They sold all kind of rice and
Like the
masala.
like the
Like the
Chinese shop.
Chinese shop.
Yeah, a small shop.
Yes. And so they continued in business and
Yes, yes. And then they sent the kids to school. My mother and all the kids of my grandfather, they went to school.
so your mother, she was well educated.
She had a lager school, the
Primary school.
Primary school.
yes, she had primary school, and thereafter she got married with my father. My father was living in Saramaka, and she was here, Matagorian, Suriname, Wata. And then after marriage, she went to Saramaka and lived there with her father-in-law, mother-in-law, and my father and brother sisters of mine.
Whole farm.
And we had a very big plantation, rice and coffee.
Ah.
Coffee and rice.
Mm-hmm. Is coffee still grown here?
No. Coffee is
There.
gone. But the rice and bananas and all kinds of fruits, the Saramaka.
So as a child, did you have to work in the field?
Yes. Tell my when I finished college, every year in the vacation time, we went back to plant rice, and in August, September to Oster, to cut the rice and we had a very great about 20 hectares of acres of land. My father planted rice, and then I helped.
You helped.
Yes.
Yes. How about you? Were you involved in your family?
No, my father was a policeman,
I see.
and not too low,
Yeah.
but every year he did the curses, and
He was when he had when he ended his
Promoted.
promotion, he was an inspector of police.
Ah,
Yeah.
I
had a
see.
good job. But never nobody came and say, I do something with you, and
Yes.
they were afraid of him. He
They were
had
afraid.
a big body and he can take you so up and
So he instilled fear in them.
yeah.
Nobody interfered with him.
Mm. And my mother was a housewife and we helped her with everything.
Mhm.
So was cocoa ever cultivated in Suriname, and is it still cultivated?
Was it?
Cocoa.
Oh, no.
Chocolate.
Not anymore.
Okay.
No, nothing.
Cacao water.
No, we had a cocoa
Name,
Our family had huge plantation in
We?
you, Ajar, no? No, your father.
my father had a rice plantation.
Yeah.
Rice.
name of cacao had
So we had cocoa, yes, but
a few of
yes, but in a few years old cocoa trees died.
Oh, the cocoa tree.
Yeah, and then he
Disease.
did rice,
Mhm.
and he had a rice fabric,
Rice factory. Oh, rice.
Rice.
mill, rice
Yeah.
mill.
rice mill.
Yeah.
That was my father, rice
Yeah.
mill, and he bought rice
Yeah.
and produced. He bought and then he make paddy, rose paddy,
Yeah.
Chaff.
Yeah, paddy.
paddy,
No paddy.
and then he make rice and bring to Paramaribo
To sell.
He had two boats to carry the freight from Saramaka to Paramaribo.
Yeah.
He was a very businessman. He was business.
Father.
Yes, he was doing cultivate rice and sell rice to Paramaribo.
Right.
And I was in the vacation. I was one of the
The drivers.
motorists of the boat.
Oh, you rode. Okay, so
Yes, as a young boy, it's very nice to do that. Because
Yeah.
you work on the
Sightseeing.
plantation, and the night you go to Paramaribo with your freight.
okay. So in Trinidad, we would say you had a good line. In Trinidad, we would say you had a good line.
Good time.
A good line with the boy.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Maharaj family. When I went by boat to Holland in 1961.
Ah,
And that was my first visit to Trinidad. A family came to the ship, take us from aboard, and bring us home. I was a vegetarian. They cooked vegetarian food for me, and we stayed for 2 days there.
yes.
And then I go back to the boat,
Yeah.
and then we go to the other harbor. We have one harbor,
Yes.
uh,
One in Port of Spain.
Port of
And
Spain,
probably one in San Fernando.
San Fernando. Yes,
Yes.
the boat went from
Port of Spain.
to San Fernando,
Yes.
and then we met the Indian family again,
Yes.
and they do the same.
Yes. Treated you nicely. And how long was the journey then? So you journeyed straight from San Fernando to where?
To Holland.
Holland.
Straight to Holland.
Yeah, we went to.
You did the same.
No.
No.
Went from Paramaribo to Holland with the boat also.
With the boat.
17 days, I think.
Wow. And
21
In
days.
1960.
1 year for me. In 1960, we went to Holland. In 1961,
Mhm.
but the boat came to Madeira in Europe.
Yes.
From Madeira to Southampton in England,
Yeah.
and then to Amsterdam.
Ah. Okay. So that must have been a very interesting journey.
Yes, very interesting.
Was it scary?
Yeah.
How did you manage?
Yes, it's going.
Everything go
You
fine.
have to wash clothes and thing on the boat.
Yes, you have to do that when you have a blows. If you are 20 days or 70 days on, you have to do that.
And
But
food.
I
You cook.
And they cook.
No.
Oh, they
Everything your
You-
meals are okay, only your clothes you have to change. And when it is dirty, you spool it and hang it.
Mhm. So these were steamships.
No.
No,
1 year later, I went to Holland. So it was 96, 1960. I went to Holland 1961.
Right. But the boat itself, the ship
Keystone ship and
No, it's an engine.
engine.
Yes.
Yes.
Modern.
Modern. Yeah.
We had
So
a
it
company here, KNSM, and they had regularly boat trips to Holland, back and Holland back.
Mhm.
Every month, 2, 3 boat trips.
And how many Hindustanis were on this trip?
I was aboard with,
not too much, but they are going.
There was some
The
I was with two.
students.
students.
10
Yeah.
students, 2 were Indian origin. I was with a friend around that. And the rest was mixed, Japanese, Chinese, Koreans.
How would you compare Hindustani society in Suriname now, as opposed to when you all had left?
It is here, when we lived in Saramaka, you had the Indian society. You had the Japanese society. And you had some together, and when you have some ceremony, they came and you go, but still, it was more Indian than
Then,
others.
yeah,
When I come to Quetta, was a very big Indian
Community.
society, community, yes. And you had very mixed up with Creoles. Very little. And then after, now we have two
mix.
you have Indian marriages now, you have cultural events, you see each other, and it is not, you cannot compare with the past. Going,
Then you go to when they have something like a shadi, the music is so, I said last time, I can't talk to him. The music is so loud.
yeah,
And
Indians.
if you
Oh,
ask them, put it,
Low.
they don't do it.
Yeah.
No, the people like it, just we do it.
Yeah.
But they forgot that their air is,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we don't go too much at the parties.
but I have met Four of my grandparents came from India.
Yeah.
Mata Gauri was one of them.
Yeah.
But the mother of the, uh, the father of my grandmother, my father's mother, came from India too. He was from UP.
Yeah.
And I have met him. He was above 100 when he died. Because he had a lot of, he had said a lot of stories from India. He was a Sikh,
Is
a
that?
Sikh, a Singh,
Uh-huh.
Jagjor Singh.
Uh-huh.
And he went to Suriname.
Yeah.
And the father, the parents of my grandfather, father's side, both came from India as kids,
Yeah.
and I have met them. I was 10 and 11 years of age when they died.
How were they different?
They were Indians.
Did they have different habits? Did they speak different languages, different Indian languages? How were they different?
They speak
Same,
Hindi, yes.
same.
They came from UPO,
Both.
both my grandparents, grandparents, and they speak Hindi.
And they understood each other very well.
Yes, but we have schools here, Hindi schools. We have to go to Hindi school to learn Hindi.
So that's something I want to ask about. At the moment, in the current education system, they teach Dutch
Yes,
and they teach English.
yes. Or school,
Yes.
4 languages. At the
Yeah.
secondary model school, Dutch, English, French, at our time,
In your
and
time.
Dutch. Yes, 4
But
languages.
no Hindustani.
No,
No.
But Hindustani was spoken in the
at
home.
home.
Yours as well.
At home.
At home with your parents.
Yes.
Do you feel Hindustani should be taught in the schools here? Does it matter? Do you think Hindustani should be taught in the school here?
Sorry.
Do you think Hindustani should be taught in the school here?
Denk je dat we Hindoestaanse lessen Hindi sanami op school moeten krijgen?
No, I don't think so.
It's not necessary.
No. When you do it Hindustani, the Japanese coming and say we have to do it also. And the black people, the Marons,
San Antonio.
also, this is too much. You can do that.
If you start with one,
In my opinion, you can do that.
Mhm.
but sometimes they started at the schools of the Sanatharam
Sri Vishnu school.
and Arya Devakar school, they give Hindi.
Ah,
En nu niet meer, toch?
It is not verplicht, yeah?
It's not compulsory anymore.
Nee. But you can choose and you can follow Hindi language education if you like.
Too much time. People won't go so long at school.
mhm, mhm. How would you change things? Would you change anything about Suriname society now?
Yeah, it is very difficult to say how you like it, but the politics system is very, very bad. Politicians make mistakes that people can go against each other. That's the politics.
People, you mean like different ethnic groups?
Yes, they try it, but the people don't move in Suriname. We have no problem together, but sometimes you see that they going to have some slogans, Creole, of Indians, no, but Indian, the Hindustanis are very quiet. They are very,
Massive.
yeah, they don't like to have fighting against the Creoles or others.
I see.
But you know, one of the problem is that Indians go the way of education.
So that's a problem?
No, but the
They-
Creoles have a problem.
Creoles have a problem.
Yes.
with it.
They don't like to study. They have other problems, social problems. And when I said at the university, when students drop off, most are Creoles. Why I don't know.
Here at school also.
School too.
Mhm.
Dropouts are more at the university level.
Yeah,
I saw huh, a lot.
yeah. Did,
But the Indians,
uh-huh,
Chinese, Japanese, they go for, and the black,
Maroon.
Marons, they go further. They don't stop.
they don't,
They try.
yeah.
Ladies, more.
Ladies,
Yes, ladies more than men.
yeah.
I
And
have
the
seen.
Dutch to speak
They speak very good Dutch.
Yeah. Among the population of Surinamese who migrated to Holland in the 1960s when you all had gone, right?
We came back in 1960s.
Sorry. So during the time when you all had gone across there, had stayed there and so on, what was the proportion of Hindustanis and blacks who went? Were there more Hindustanis than blacks or more blacks and Hindustanis
In
going
Holland?
to Holland?
More blacks than Hindus.
From here?
Yes. And more Hindustanis came back than the others.
I see.
Right. And
Why? Yeah, why?
we like to come back family and build up the country.
I see.
The
Good.
lifestyle here is different than in Holland. For oldest people, here is better. You can go everywhere. You have
Tropical
family,
country is better than
you
the
have
cold climate.
family, you have maybe kids here, and they bring you where you. But in Holland, the whole day work, and weekends they have to do forces. And then, yeah,
Saturday is business day, Sunday is rest day, Monday start again. But most of our family was a Suriname. But in 1973, when they started the movement of independence, then a lot of people went.
yeah.
About the half of my family is living in Holland.
So,
Our family too.
okay.
A lot of family. Gangana Pandi family is bigger in Holland than in Suriname.
I can't imagine.
Yes, yes. When you have some parties there, you see a lot of people, and they born there from 1973 until now. A lot of born there. They have intermarriages with people of Holland,
Yeah.
but Surinamese people
Yeah,
too together. They have a lot of kids too.
yeah.
Not a lot, but the family is very big there.
They did, right.
Her family too?
Yeah. The majority of them are across there.
Yes.
The two sisters are here.
I see.
And two sisters living there.
Govardhan
Chan.
is my zwager.
Brother-in-law.
Chan Govardhan.
Govardhan.
Govardhan is a very respected.
Person.
Zij heeft Nederlands is gepromoveerd ook, hè?
His wife is he has done good research. But he has done a lot of research about Hindustani education.
Education and Hindustani education.
I see. Okay. So those are your family here.
Yes, this living here.
Very nice. Yeah.
And two sisters living in Holland. One is my first Sitaram, I came before, my aunt. And her kids, they lived in Holland. But a lot of families too went to Holland and they stayed there.
Okay. So in closing, oh, sorry, Dr. Mahalo wants to ask a question.
So a lot of Trinidadians go to Guyana, a lot of Guyanese go to Trinidad.
Yeah.
How come Surinamese, many don't go to Trinidad? How come many Trinidadians don't come here?
Oh.
Why?
You had, with Guyana, we had connection. Guyana. You go, travel, and come back.
Mhm.
Guyanese too. But Guyanese could came a lot and stay in Suriname. But Surinamese don't go and stay in Guyana. A few.
Why?
I don't know. Trinidad too.
Why?
But Suriname was a colony of Holland. That's why we went to Holland. People from Guyana and Trinidad loved living in London.
It's true.
And I have met them in Canada, in America.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of Guyanese and Trinidadians in America and Canada and England.
So you think it might have something to do with the people who colonized us
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
And the language.
and the language?
And the possibilities to do studies there
Yeah.
with the language of Dutch.
Yeah.
That's our main language. That's
Yeah.
why we went to Holland for a law study. I cannot do a law study in Trinidad of Guyana. You can use it here. The system different. We have a civil law system here,
Mhm.
and you have other system in Guyana. You have the system of England and America in your country, and all the English speaking countries.
Mhm.
But we have the Dutch law system.
So
Curacao, Aruba, all the Antilles, and Suriname, we have one law family.
I see.
That's why we are going to Holland for the language and study medicine, all kinds of studies do in Holland.
So give me your opinion on something. There is an idea that has been put out there by somebody, an Indian person from South Africa, and he is suggesting that Indians everywhere in the diaspora, you all, Suriname, people in Fiji, Mauritius, South Africa, whatever, because we are sometimes encountering difficulties with other ethnic groups in the countries in which we live, he is proposing that diaspora Indians find one place to live in. What do you think about that idea?
I think that it's not practical. It is not practical, I think. It's not possible to do it. Why?
Mama, why no?
The family and the things you know here or from else, when you go to a place, you know nothing. You have to go and look for everything. So too much time.
Too
costs
much
too much
time.
time. You can go a place where you know something.
Mhm.
It's better to stay there than you go a place where you know nothing. You have to look for everything.
But the proposal is put all the diaspora people together at one place.
Yeah.
That's the proposal.
Yeah. It's not barren land.
No.
It's a developed place already. It's
Yes.
a place that is already, because
Yes.
there's no barren
I
land
think it's
elsewhere in the world.
I think that's the idea, but will not be practical. I don't think that will be practical.
Why not?
We are, which country you have to choose to make a choice?
Right,
Where?
right. That's one
Where?
issue.
You have to make a choice,
Right.
and they come together, and then you have to let behind you everything what you have built up.
But do you think there is enough commonality among Indians just by virtue of the fact that we are children of the indentures? We kind of understand the whole plantation concept that we all grew from. We kind of all like similar food, similar music. Do you think that that might add to it, be an advantage?
I heard
I
for the
don't
first
think-
time, I heard this proposal for the first time.
Yeah.
So you have to think over, but I don't think it is practical to realize it. We are Indians, but you have a different lifestyle.
Every-
Guyana to we and
every
Guyana
area.
together better together than we.
The country have another lifestyle
From each different
from
country.
each different country.
We have influence of Holland. We have influence from England.
Yeah.
And you see, there's some.
So there will be conflict.
I don't see conflict, but I see no reason to do it together. We went to Mauritius. We stayed for 1 week in Mauritius.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we met a lot of people.
Yeah.
They speak language there. It's official language. It's official language there, Bhojpuri. And Bhojpuri I can speak fluently.
Yeah.
India too. This we have very things common, and the lifestyle there in Suriname is
Similar.
similar than in Guyana.
Ah,
We
That's
go to
amazing.
puja there. We have seen mandirs there. Everything.
so you were very much at home in Mauritius,
Yes.
but not so much in Guyana.
Guyana, they speak only English. There they speak Bhojpuri
Yeah.
and the language of
French.
Saba language. They have a language,
Yeah.
but Bhojpuri is official language.
So what I'm hearing is that the ability to communicate is much more important to someone
The language.
Yeah.
as opposed to simply identifying yourself by your physical characteristics.
That should be so.
Yeah, to be understood is more important. Yeah.
But here, I have worked as judge together with all people of Sri. It was very good, very fun, no problem.
Mhm.
People of original Chinese, from Holland,
Mhm.
from Suriname, from the black people. We have togetherness. No problem.
Okay, can you wind up in 5 minutes?
Yes. So, bringing it to a close now, I'd like both of you to please say to people from the Indian diaspora,
Fiji, Mauritius, South Africa.
wherever they are,
Yeah.
give some advice, some guidance
To Hindustanis in
to Hindustan.
Fiji.
Yeah, Indians from all over the world, we have the same history, cultural history.
Yeah.
Religious history. We see here Ramayana, Mahabharata, and we feel at home. I was in India, I saw one of the films too, Mahabharata. You feel at home. That's our cultural togetherness. We have to keep it. And if it's possible, we are now of old age, travel to our countries. Go and see how people are living in Mauritius. We went a few times to Trinidad, to Guyana, a lot of
Yeah.
times, but to Mauritius, so too far to go so far.
Yes.
But India, we have traveled a lot. We have met a lot of people of all Indian states. But Hindi and Bhojpuri, we could talk with everyone, and English. It is very good to keep English. Very good. Keep it. Don't let it go. Keep English as a language and go around the world. See
Yeah.
all, but keep your history, keep your culture alive.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Would
the
you
same, the
say?
same, the same. Yeah, we have the same opportunities.
And anything about family life that you would like to
Yes,
share?
I like family life.
Mhm.
I like together family. When you go to a person you don't know, you have to match with them, but the family you know.
We are a family man.
Yeah,
Don't forget, I'm eldest of 14, and she's the mate of 10.
So, should we have big Indian families
Yes, yes.
yeah.
all the time?
And where we go, we make family.
You saw it Sunday at
Yes.
Sumintra,
Yeah.
the sister.
Yes. So that's one thing we are losing. We are losing the big family.
But you have to leave everything and go.
Yeah.
Till we are in this body, we are family. At that moment that the prana is going away, no family, everything ends. Because young people go along the world, see each other, speak to each other, see how Indians are living all over the world, and be happy.
But go back home to where you were born. Go back home to your family eventually. After you travel the
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
It's,
Go home.
it's very nice to come back home.
Yes, we have traveled a lot,
You,
but it
yeah.
was very nice to be home.
And the eating, the everything, the dinners, the everything.
घर घर होता है और घर में जब लक्ष्मी नहीं रहता है तो वो घर नहीं रहता है, वो मकान हो जाता है। एक घर में एक लक्ष्मी की जरूरी है। ये जैन हिंदी लक्ष्मी
A house needs a Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is the goddess of prosperity and wealth.
if you go somebody visit somebody has no Lakshmi, it's a house, it's not a home. How are you? Thank you very much. Namaskar.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Wisdom from the elders. I loved having that conversation with the Gangaram panelists. And I'm sure all of you all, in reflecting on things that they've said, can find a bit of commonality. And I hope you all were enlightened as much as we have been. They're here with us in the audience, and I would love to have them respond to a few questions or comments. So let me see if I can get them to unmute their mics. I'm looking for them at the moment. Yes, they're here. So can we please have Mr. Sharda Prasad Gangram Pandey and Ms. Tarawati Rambokas Gangram Pandey? Can you please unmute your mic and turn on your video? I'm asking to unmute. Rehana, I need you. Rehana, try to unmute for me, please. I'm not seeing Amriyat again. Rehana, can you ask in Sarnami
Yes.
for them to unmute, please?
Tulong के microphone में चाहेगा druk करेंगे एक और knop है ऊपर if druk करे तो वो geluid आ जाएगा. Who am I speaking right now?
You're trying to ask Sharda Prasad Gangram Pandey or Tarawati Gangram Pandey to unmute.
Okay. Tante, dit is Rehana Lal Mohamed. नीचे में links of rechts कहूँ एगो microphone बा. वो microphone वहाँ पे druk करता तो knop जो druk करिए तो microphone वहाँ पे क्या ऐसे कहेगा. If you probeer कर कोनो लड़कों से पूछ कोनो बाबी वहाँ पे. Hello? Oh, something goes wrong. I don't think they have children in their neighborhood.
I'm not seeing them unmuted. I'm not too sure, but they're here.
Here?
They're here.
Them.
Amriyat, the younger brother was also here. I'm not seeing him on the chat again.
Any of them?
Yeah, so we would have to move on, I think.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because we had such a good time chatting with them. I'd like to take a few comments. Anyone would like to share a reflection on that particular interview? MK, I see your hand up already.
Yeah,
Okay, are you okay? Can I ask a question?
Well, MK, we've been trying to get them to unmute in order to respond, but Rehana is trying to help us to do that, but we're not seeing them unmuting. Would you like to comment instead of ask a question, please?
To me? Are you talking to me?
Yes, MK.
Yeah, I was wondering whether the Pandey's feeling about Suriname being final home is informed by the fact that they have a close connection with Holland and they can call Holland home as well as Suriname. Whereas maybe people in Trinidad and Guyana don't have that feeling. I think that they have a feeling that there is security in the fact that if they feel any degree of alienation, they have another place to go to. I'm just making that comment. Is that probably their mental makeup different from those people in Guyana and Trinidad?
They just try to explain it to us that Suriname was a colony of Holland, and the main language there is Dutch, and the children, they come and study here in Holland also. They start a new life here, and yes, they are all related to Holland. It's pretty normal for them. So it's in Trinidad and Guyana, that's what they were referring to. People from Trinidad, Guyana, they go to England, and they have much more with countries where the language is English. And just like he said, yeah, it's where your heart is, where your children are, where your family is, where you feel good, and where you can make yourself comfortable. I think for them it's Holland.
Right, but they're at home in Suriname and very comfortable at home in Suriname. That's the
They-
thing. Yeah.
They were telling you something because in 1975, after the Sri Lanka independent, lots of Hindustanis went to Holland with their children because it was a black party at that time. And but lots of Hindustanis also migrated in, I think, in the 1986. Yeah, it would be better if you told it. But there's another. There's someone else, Mr. Harinandan Singh. I think he can tell us also about that period. Mr. Sharanand, yes. Can you unmute him? Ask him to unmute. Mr. Sharanand Harinandan Singh. Yes. Who is Matthew? How are you? Can you please unmute and help me? Because you know a lot of that period. I know that. And tell us, please.
And while we wait for him to unmute, I'm going to ask Jay Nair to pose his question or make his comment.
Yeah.
Thanks, Johanna. Jay, go ahead, please.
I wanted a question because I wanted to know how the indentured people, how did they become indentured under the Dutch system? Because we know what the British system was, the British East India Company. The Dutch East India Company might have had a different style, but still they gave them the 5-year term. And how did that come about? But to make comment to MK's answer, I was in Aruba for a week, and I, chatted with the Africans, and they were working in Aruba, and I asked them, would they like going back to Africa? And says, why did you ask the question? I said, no, I'm from South Africa, and people are going to South Africa now. And they said, no, I wouldn't like to leave this place. Then I asked them why. They said, we have practically everything here. We live here, we get educated here, and then we end up in Holland to pursue higher education. And they even take soccer players from here, and they do well. So they don't have a sort of a feeling that they're not part of the Dutch, not as a colony, but the Dutch country. So when they go to Holland, they feel that they're part of the Dutch, although they may be dark-skinned. And you'll find on the streets, and you'll find, I was in Holland too, in Amsterdam, you see the mixture of the black and the white. It's different from South Africa. Whereas we as a community separated ourselves. We didn't want to learn Afrikaans. We had a fight about that. We went after the Afrikaner government, and they were under the Dutch at one time, but they ended up under the British because of the battles. So all in all, we were comfortable in our own community, and education was key. As the gentleman said, education in the Indian community is like the emerald of our culture.
Thank you.
Everything is education, any kind of education.
Thank you for reiterating that point, Jay. Let me see if we can get Dr. Shardanan to respond to your question. Dr. Shardanan, I see you're unmuted. Rajan, can you unmute? Go ahead. I'm not getting Dr. Shardanan. He's okay, Rajan?
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Shardanan.
How are you? Yes, I am very interesting, and it is very pity that my friend with the same name, the former judge, Gangaram Pandey, is not available now. But what was your question?
So we had several questions, but can you just give us a brief history in 2 minutes, if possible, because we have to bring on our next speaker who is patiently waiting. Can you please give us a brief history of the difference between Dutch indentureship
Okay, okay.
and British
Listen,
indentureship?
yes, listen, because there are British colonies, French colonies, and there are Dutch colonies. So for the French and the Dutch colonies, they had a treaty, 1870. And in this treaty, they had regulate everything what the Dutch had to do with the British citizens, because the contract is they were British citizens, and that is the difference that makes that the Surinamese in the Dutch colony, they could keep their language, Bhojpuri, and they could stay the way how they would like to stay. This habit, when the independence came in 1975, a lot of Surinamese was a exodus. They went to Holland, and most of them were Hindustanis. Well, I was the chairman of a foundation, and we have to claim to the Dutch government, let them be like Hindustanis, they will integrate here fully in the Dutch society. That makes that the Hindustanis are the same like they are different, but they could keep their culture, their identity, their language, and everything, and it became the same. And you know, the connection with of the Surinamese with the Dutch society is very intensive. They feel at home in both countries.
But Dr. Harinaran Singh, this is Rahana, who is met to you. How are you?
I go. Yes, thank you.
Yes. After the indentured labor ship, they started working in Suriname, and they had their own things. They after the Hindustanis, the people from Java came, and it ended there, and they could go their own way, and they had nothing to do with the English government because they lived there in under the Dutch society. So
Okay.
it was different.
Exactly, because Suriname and Indonesia was one Dutch colony. For the Japanese, that was not necessary to have a treaty. The Traktat, the current Traktat, was not needed because they were Dutch citizens. That's the difference between
That's the difference. They became.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you both. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I want to say thank you as well to the Gangaram Pandays. Unfortunately, I'm being advised by Atma Jagbandan that he called Mr. and Mrs. Gangaram Pandey. They don't have Zoom right now, and unfortunately, no one is there to help them. Oh, I'm seeing a different Tara Pandey. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, but in any event, I want to say thank you very much to Mr. and Mrs. Gangaram Pandey for that excellent interview in which they shared so much about their family life and wisdom. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on now to Trinidad. And Mr. Deo Gosain has been waiting quite patiently. He's 80 years old. He's a practicing engineer for the past 40 years. He's also active in too many professional and philanthropic organizations for us to even mention. This gentleman is always busy. With his wife Chandra, they established the Deo Gosain Foundation, which focuses on youth development. And we are so happy to have him here today.
Thank you.
Mr. Deo Gosain, welcome.
Thank you there.
So let me ask you, I want to lead off the independence point that we just left with Suriname. Yesterday, Trinidad and Tobago celebrated our 62nd independence anniversary. Now, at the time in 1962, when we became an independent nation, you may have been around 17 or 18 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. I was in high school. I was by last year at St. Thomas Aquinas in San Fernando.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can you tell us a little bit about what your impressions were at that time? How important was independence, this whole drive for independence? How important was that to you?
To be honest with you, independence was a novel idea. We had all kinds of ideas. I was then in the fourth form, the last year in high school. And when independence was announced in 62, we were all taken to Skinner Park in San Fernando and taught how to march, as though we are developing our own local military. So we learned that because when Independence Day comes, we would be required to go in San Fernando and Harris Promenade and do that. A lot of people does not know when our national anthem was written, the first round of the anthem, which we were learning in high school, was subsequently changed. And I think Mr. Castano, who passed away recently from Trinidad, he wrote the national anthem. And the lady who put it to music was the lady who was the Lakshmi Girl principal. I learned that recently. I think she's still alive. But independence gave us a new feeling. It was a new concept. Now, let me give you a little anecdote. People are going crazy in this new concept called independence. And the merchants were making underwear with the flag. And a statute was passed in Trinidad somewhere around 62, prohibiting the colors of the national flag to use in any clothing of garment, be it underwear or overwear. So that was a whole new idea. But I think at that time, the lectures given to us in high school, I was already in the fourth form, senior form. I don't think we really understood what independence means. Because we really, the word independence is a misnomer in Webster Dictionary. We are really interdependent. No country is an island. No country is even the mighty America or USSR is not fully independent in that respect. So we are interdependent. So it brought a certain feeling of relief. We really didn't know much of a difference. Those intellectual people like those who went to Marlborough House in UK to trash out the Constitution, they may have known, but the older I get and the more I study politics around the world and see politics, it was an issue of faith.
Faith in what?
Faith in the system of governance, be it the Marlborough House Constitution that we adopted later on, and there was change to the Republic sometime subsequently. But it was a feeling of independence. We felt the political class told us that we will be free and we will set our own destiny and we are right own way. But at no time was the money aspect discussed. So independence does bring certain responsibilities. But it was an effervescent feeling, the way it was portrayed to us in the high schools and in the newspaper articles and the public square, listening to politicians. I still remember going to listen to Butler and still going to listen to Malcolm, I forget his name now, last name, a politician from San Fernando. So independence was a new idea whose time has come. And I think it was Gandhiji who began the movement. It was really go back to Australia. And after Gandhiji's success, we all start looking for independence.
What changed? Did anything change for you in your household, in your community?
Well, giving management to a class of people with zero experience was a big thing. And I think I am one who subscribed to the thinking that management is a trained occupation. It's not an occupation by getting a PhD degree and say you become a manager. I have always said that I've been an engineer now for more than 50 years and worked all around the world in more than 19 countries in the hydrocarbon. Now we are investing in some of those. But we really had to acquire the accoutrements of management. We must go through a training program. And so we did mess up something did happen, something we did right, then something we did wrong. And I think today we are paying a dear price in Trinidad for some of our mismanagement or failure. But that is what the learning curve is.
Do you think we can right those wrongs at any point in time? Do we need to?
I'm a great believer in the people. And if you read the American Constitution, the first set of words that say we the people. And I think more of us, and I address Trinidad and some of the diaspora countries and some of the Caribbean countries, should take note of those words, we the people. We the people can change things. We the people can set new paradigm. We the people can institute new forms of government. We the people can bring about a better lifestyle. It's not in the political class. We the people, be it the business community, be it the academic community, be it the NGOs, or just the man in the street, we the people can change. And I still believe in we the people.
Okay, so let's talk about Dave Gosain, the young Indian boy who saw independence coming and within your family circle expected some change. Can you tell us a little bit about what?
Well, I think I grew up in a rice and cane household in Barakpur. I was born in Barakpur, grew up there. So our expectations were very limited. Continuing the status quo was all that we expected. I think it was my leaving Trinidad in 66, some 58 years ago, a young boy at 21 years of age, knowing nobody in America, getting an I-20 form that a friend sent me for $10 and sign up at the School of Electrical Drafting and to start what became a movement of all my relatives. Most of them have left Trinidad. So that was the beginning. Moving to 2 blocks from Times Square, 9th Avenue and 46th Street in Manhattan was something that I think I like to say what makes one successful is youth and ignorance. Had I known at that time the price we have had to pay, I would never have ventured, and many of us. So having youth and ignorance at that time, I don't, my own ignorance. If you know too much, sometimes you get too smart and you become apprehensive. You become very fearful of what tomorrow will be. But youth is a terrific, terrific thing, which I'm dearly missing now.
Okay, but you are youthful in some regard. So
one more time, sorry.
You are youthful in some regard to even recognize that.
I have applied myself to other things. I've been an engineer for 50 years, worked all around the world in oil and gas, invested heavily in Trinidad and other parts, still live in White Plains, New York. As a matter of fact, I'm calling from Toronto, Canada right now. I am hopeful. I am hopeful in tomorrow. And if I can help instill into our young people, and that's why I be so much involved in philanthropy around the world, and we are doing our share. And you'll be hearing some of our projects in Trinidad, not too distant future. But I think we must give hope for better tomorrow. Our people must be enfranchised to be architect of our own destiny. If we are not architect of our own destiny, we will come back like the colonial days. So I'm a firm believer that we should start organizations. I am one who believes in institutional building, not individual work. Building institution, I've had my share of building more than 8 or 10, which have gone global, from my engineering society in the tri-state New York area to Hindu temple groups, and now to global diaspora issues.
So let me pose the same question to you that I did to the Gangaram Pandis. And that question is, do you think it is possible or even desirable for Indians in the diaspora to come together to live in one place?
I cannot subscribe to that thinking. I think it's a big fallacy. It's impractical, like Mr. Gangaram said. We have developed value system. Whichever country we live in, we have acquired the value system of those countries. We have grown our own lifestyle too. And trying to put us will be trying to mend the old with the new. I think our people have developed a lifestyle. And I was interested in Mr. Gangaram's comment on his meeting people in India and get along with them. They're the classical case. He has grown up in Suriname on a Western/Dutch culture, and to go back to Bharat and to go back to the village of the UP could be, very difficult unless you have set yourself that trajectory to move on to. And there are people who are moving back to. I've got loads and loads of friends in the US who are moving back to India and starting businesses and starting companies and growing their profession. So you must be cut out for that and want to make a difference.
So let's talk about your family back in India. Did you visit your ancestral village?
Yes, I do. I've been there about more than 20 times. My father's mother is from a place called Sarai Rasi. It's a Rajput colony in what was called Faizabad, which is part of Ayodhya. It's on the highway between Faizabad and Banaras. I have with them. My father's father is from Bihar, a place called Kanda Chopra on Banka Ganga near the town of Ara. So yes, we visit. My wife's family is from Barabanki, and we all visit them very often. Every year, this year I was there twice already. So we do have a healthy relationship. We visit to them. We always visiting with them. And I surely appreciate their accepting us as a long-lost family.
Tell us how they are different from your family here.
Well, of course, they live in a very agro-type place. They have their own land, and as a matter of fact, the Serju River, and those who follow the Ramayana know the Serju River, and the Rambhumi temple is built on the Serju River. They have a piece of land, about 15 acres, and that makes them a fairly wealthy person, especially with the valuation going up now. So, but we have to be cognizant of the fact that we are products of our own experiences. We left Trinidad, we left India and came to Trinidad, and we have been exposed to, in quotation mark, modern day living. And people who have lived in a homogeneous society, we have lived in a pluralistic society. We travel, we go from London. I think the 40 or 50% of Trinidadians have been in a plane. Out of India, less than 1% have been in a plane. So that has prepared us for a different expectation. I am not going to speak, in any negative way of the people. It's just they are product of their own experiences. We can only be product of our own experiences. So as a matter of fact, I think I can retire in India anytime and live there.
That's lovely.
One of the
Where would you
nicest
go?
place I would like to retire in Rishikesh on bank of Ganga. And we have traveled the length and breadth of India by car, not by plane, by car and train. So I've seen, in my 20 plus visits, I've seen India from a different perspective.
So I want to open up the floor to members of the audience who may want to ask Mr. Dave Gosain any questions. I'm seeing MK with his hand up already. Yes, MK, go ahead, please. Unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Gossin. You know, when I heard you, I remembered how I felt when Kenya became independent. I was the same age as you. We were filled with hope. We were filled with spirit. It was a new time. You did not mention the main mantra at that time, I think, which Dr. Eric Williams used to say, that Massa Day is no more. You were talking about the colonial hegemony that they were going to get rid of. Kenyatta said the same thing in Kenya, that from tomorrow we are going to be free. But what freedom meant was something nobody knew, because economic freedom and political freedom are two different things.
Correct.
It's number one. Number two, I think when we talk about the last 50 years, do you not feel that we need to work towards a genuinely pluralistic society? We may not fit back in India after 3-4 generations, but what is the type of life that we think we will be comfortable with outside of India? It may not be a separate state, but what is the type of comfort that we will feel happy with, where our culture is maintained and not diluted, while at the same time we contribute to a national polity that we feel a part of? I think Indians right through the diaspora are facing the same problem. Are we Indians, or do we belong to the new nation state? If we belong to the new nation state, can we maintain our own cultural integrity, yet be part of those countries? These are huge issues that have not even been unfolded yet. So I thought, are there any points that you can throw on that, please?
So I'm a great believer that respect for the brother next door is very important. And I've been involved in building temples around America. I've been involved in building 5 temples around. And I've always, I'm not much of a, temple person, but I believe in institutions that help to bring people together. And if we go to a temple, a mosque, or a gurdwara, or a church, and we learn only one thing, do unto others like you do unto yourself, the church will have been a success. So going back to your question about the pluralistic society, we can coexist in a pluralistic society and be very, very happy. But when one class or one color or one creed see it fit to practice a certain degree of hegemony, it creates ill will. Meaning that when one person, one class, or one creed try to impose their value systems on us, they are now violating my value system. And people like us, people like me, who have been radicalized for more than 40 years in changing certain status quo, I think we do something. And hopefully, and this is why many of our diaspora countries, where we are a small slice of the general population, with many times out proportion influence in the economy, be it professionally or money-wise, I start looking up and say, who are these people? But I think if we all can accept each other, if we all can have that. But let's go back and look at India, for example. I've been a fairly good critic of India. And let me take you a certain anecdote which I was part of. A number of years ago, when the Fiji government was deposed, And we hosted dinners in New York and do protests at the United Nations to open up the thinking about the deposing of the existing president. We had a fundraising at Jewels of India on, around 52nd and 5th Avenue, and the Indian Consul General was there. And when one of my colleague friends from Guyana in New York asked, so Mr. Ambassador, what would the government of India think about that? And the gentleman spoke out and said that the government of India take no position on that. I'm living long enough to see Vajpayee ji formed the committee to examine the diaspora. And Dr. Singhvi, who was then the ambassador in London, came up with what's called a Singhvi report. And now I'm glad to see and say that the current government is building on the diaspora. So as we have an India who takes more interest in the diaspora, we feel enfranchised and we will seek our day in the sunshine in all our diaspora countries.
Excellent, thank you. Jay has a question. Jay, go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Jay.
Just, it's not a question, just a comment. The same thing happened to us in South Africa when South Africa became a republic and they broke away from the British colonial system. And we as Indians, we were forced, because at that time, the Indian Congress was quite strong, telling us not to get involved with these Afrikaner, sort of programs, because they wanted to make us all Dutch-speaking, Afrikaans-speaking, and wanted to thrust their values on us. And we couldn't exist on our own. So our movement fought that. And then they started this, what we call a separate development. And a separate development started in 1948. And you find that every race was put in sort of compartments. And around the country, we had homelands, Bantustans, and the Group Areas Act. We were moved out of areas where we were living before together, and separation came about, and that's when there was a fight. So that's what happens in these countries around the world. And we thought we'll be free to do what we can, and we are not as happy as the one from Suriname. Suriname had a connection with Holland, but we didn't. So in light of all that, I can see where you're coming from as far as temple builder, and the reason that you want to see the younger generation to develop in a we the people. And when that we, instead of I, come about, it will dominate for the future. Hopefully it happens, but I don't know if it can happen in my lifetime. The hope.
Jay, I think many more of us should start using the words you just used. They're not I, but we. So we build institutions. The larger community around us don't respect you and me per se, no matter how much we accomplish. But they respect the institutions we build and the institutions that advocate for a better tomorrow for all people. And even those who you said may not be in unison with what you want, but because you have a larger community behind you, they will. So, but we have to be fair about things too. Even Nehru was docile when India was offered a seat at the United Nations. So it's something that we can't run from our generation. By nature, and I think the gentleman before spoke about this, the people being docile. And I think the more we practice, and I got my friend here, Arnold Thomas also, the more he advocates in, the Caribbean area about enfranchising. I think I'm a great believer in enfranchising people. You enfranchise the professional, you enfranchise the farmer, you enfranchise the young boy in school, that you can make a difference. For too long, we have been told that we cannot make a difference. And I'm here to state that we could make a difference. And that's why I'm involved with True All Foundation in franchising young people vis-a-vis education. I think that is the way to go. That's way to go. And I may just throw one out. We have been proposing that Bharat builds Bharat centers of advocates around the world. We cannot wait for the 2-year hiatus in Delhi or Mumbai on the Pravasi Bharati Divas. We need to have centers around the world, just like the Jewish people build centers of learning, centers of excellence, centers of business collaboration around the world. I think we have to go one step beyond just the puja, and I'm not only advocating temple, I'm advocating that the institution we could build to get the respect.
Thank you. Let's take a
I hope I
question.
answered your question, Jay.
Made a good response there, Atma. Mr. Atma Jagbanda, go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, you muted yourself there. Unmute. We should be able to hear you now.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Sorry about that. I'm not so handy with Zoom as yet. I'm from Suriname, and I would like ask something to Mr. Dev Gosai. It's about the Bhojpuri language of Trinidad. We in Suriname, we came to know a little bit about the Bhojpuri language of Trinidad through the songs of Sundar Popo. Sundar Popo was very popular in with the Hindustani and Suriname, his songs. And also later song, little bit not song like Lotella and so. And then I listened to it, and then I noticed that it was very much similar to the Bhojpuri, which what we are speaking in Suriname. So I'm just curious about what I hear. A few thousand people in Trinidad are still speaking the language, but maybe you know about that, and maybe you can tell me, give me a more accurate number. And I would also like to ask if you are able to speak Bhojpuri, and then I would like to hear it, if possible, what it sounds like next to songs. In songs I hear, but then how songs. That's my question.
Okay, Mr. Jagbandan, thanks. Mr. Gosai, can you speak Bhojpuri?
Let me be first to acknowledge that I don't speak Hindi. At home, some 58, 60 years ago, before leaving Trinidad, my parents spoke Bhojpuri at home, and I thought I understood everything. Although all my roommates in the US and university have been Gujarati, Sindhi, Punjabis, I never picked up the language. I think it has to do with my head, maybe a little too hard. But again, what I'm saying is that I hear you loud and clear. Bhojpuri is a speaking language in Bihar and parts of eastern UP. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of Bhojpuri song in the diaspora. It's a very live type of entertainment. But language proficiency, I think people, when we cannot understand our language, you cannot teach Shakespeare in French and Spanish. Shakespeare only appreciates English. And I hear you loud and clear. I'm at fault. I don't speak the language. I understand it. I am functional in it, but I think I'm better off in Spanish than I'm in Hindi right now. But no, I think these are things that we will have to eventually, and those are things that help build our community. We can't understand the literature, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, whatever the texts are, we must be able to comprehend or understand the language, and that's so important. I agree with you. Bhojpuri should be a little more prevalent. Suriname is way ahead of us in that respect.
It's true. We always compliment Surinamese wherever we go. We're very proud of Suriname that they've been able to maintain Bhojpuri to the extent that they have what is known as Suriname. They're the only people in the Caribbean who continue, the only Indians in the Caribbean who continue to speak anything like an Indian language. So hats off to you all in Suriname. We have a comment now from Robbie Sina. Rob, go ahead, please. You want to unmute?
Unmute.
Probably turn on your video as well.
Yeah, in the garden, yes. Sitaram Namaste.
Namaskar.
Assalamu alaikum. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. David Gosain a few years ago, and if you remember, I came at your home with I forget the name of this guy from Guyana who does all the
Mr. Bisram, Dr. Bisram.
Yes, Dr. Bisram.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I am doing, well, I'm from Barapur. I'm a fellow Barapurian. I'm very
Well,
proud.
I'm right down the road from you.
Yes. Every year at Diwali Nagar, I have a booth. We do counseling, and this year, what we are doing, we're trying to create a sort of like a quiz on Hinduism, and we want to incorporate also some of the Bhojpuri. We want to give the children little certificates so that they will say they would have gotten something for just participating in this little quiz. And I think something tangible, like a little certificate, will make the kids a bit more interested in learning the Bhojpuri and even knowing about their religion. So I'm hoping to contact the Dave Gosain Foundation and see if we can speak more about that.
Dave
so if you can get to,
email.com.
all right, well, I'll be writing it. Thank
Robbie,
you very much.
let me just say one thing to you. I'm really interested in, let me, Shalima, let me just say one thing to you. One of my biggest aspirations in Trinidad is an institution with linkages to Bharat. We have so many institutions in Trinidad with foreign affiliation, and we have none with Bharat. It hurts me to see we don't have that, and we are working on that right now. But the fact remains that we should bring some of those languages back. I don't think it can be a primary language, but even just to appreciate our literature, it's very important. So, Ravi, I look forward to staying in touch with you and hearing from you. I'd love to.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
And we are available for, further conversation. I'm in Trinidad very often. I just came back from Trinidad about 5-6 days ago. And we say it's very important we continue the conversation.
So can you tell us, in closing, we're going to wrap up now. Can you tell us a little bit about the Dave Gosain Foundation so that people who are outside of Trinidad, for example, can have a better understanding about what you do?
Well, what we are doing, we think enfranchising young people are very important. And one way, and I think the prior person said it, that education. I think right now people who are demoralized or feel insignificant or feel less than honorable because of either education or monetary situation, especially in Trinidad right now. We think that we need to start preparing people for the marketplace. I think and this is what I'm particularly interested in, developing shovel-ready people. If a person cannot feed his family or take care of his children, there's no country for him. So all I'm saying is that we are advocating, but Trinidad is a very difficult place to sell ideas, very, very difficult to sell ideas sometimes, to get all the government. We are working a project for 5 years, and we finally get after 5 years, support or approval on some building we are interested in doing. So that's what we are doing. We have a leadership program. We are running a number of primary schools where at school we give every year we give I think on some 12 award, 6 boys, 6 girls, and where we have a medal and some cash, which they use to buy books. In Trinidad, you cannot make a check out because someone under 18 cannot open a bank account. So we have to write it through a bookstore or something so they can get it. So we are there. Right now, I have a challenge grant out to a major institute in Trinidad. One of the things of Hinduism, and I'm not being critical of any religion. I'm not qualified enough to talk about anybody's religion. But one of the pillars of Hinduism is dharti mata, respect for earth, the earth, the earth. And we have been given the gift of a great earth where all products and solutions and medicine comes from. And we have completely decimated, and we have shown no respect for it. We have a challenge grant out for one of your major institutions. Let us do annual earth cleanup and education. But the institution is not, haven't committed to it yet. So these are projects which will get national issue, which will get national attention, and will accomplish something in our country. So that's what I'm saying. We are doing, treating the leadership forum, the education outreach, and the environment.
Three very important projects there, and I suppose this is something that we need to speak in more detail about. So for those of you all who are interested, please stay beyond the recording. Mr. Deobosan, I want to thank you very, very much for appearing. It was a pleasure to have you. It was a pleasure to finally get you on our program. I can't tell you how happy we are that you've been able to give us your time.
Shalima, I just want to say one thing to you. Thanks. We have known each other in GOPIO program. I'm now Executive Council member, GOPIO, Caribbean and Latin America. And we have a lot we would like to do in Trinidad with people like you. But I want to thank you and Sakira and Dr. Mahavir for bringing these programs. I've talked to Dr. Mahavir a lot about this. What you all are doing is like a mala reaching little Trinidad into the greater society, be it in India, be it in Malaysia, wherever it may be. And this is very important. The work that you all are doing is well recognized in Lucknow University, I can tell you, and Banaras Hindu University, which I visit very often. Right now, I have a couple of things they have asked me to do, bring our people. A lot of people in India look forward for a textbook, the writing community of the Caribbean. There was Indian professor, Dr. Agnihotri, who was head of Louisiana State University, and he always talked us. We are putting out so much literature on our people, and even in India, they have offering so many PhD programs in diaspora studies, and the whole thing began in Caribbean. Our writers in New York, who have written, tremendously on our culture, on our teaching. So I want to commend you and Dr. Mahabir and Shakira for what you all are doing. And those of us who listen every week, we must encourage you to encourage them, and let's help them make it better and further reach. Shakira, Shalima, thank you again. Dr. Mahabir. I see my niece, Nan Gosan, is also on. Nan, nice seeing you there. And Anna Thomas.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, Shakira, Shalima.
Wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. We are bringing our Elders program today to a close with a lot of enlightenment. Thank you, MK. Thank you all for being here. And I want to turn you all over now to Shakira to formally close. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shalima, and we want to thank all of you for taking the time to attend and to participate. And as we've said earlier, this public meeting is being hosted by the Indo-Caribbean Cultural Center, and you can feel free to contact the ICC to publish your books and reports. And remember that we are kindly asking you to give us your suggestions, and if you give a donation, your name will be placed on our poster and all promotional materials, and you can contact Dr. Mahabir for details. So our topic next Sunday will be a memorial tribute to an iconic Indo-Caribbean woman, Dr. Amina Ghafoor of Guyana. We want to thank the advisory and planning team led by Dr. Kumar Mahabir, and thank our IT consultant, Daryl Gransam and Navin Mangal, who has been advising on recording the program, which will be uploaded to our website and to YouTube permanently for posterity. Thanks again to Daryl for designing the poster and Ravin Ramsingh for the the social media marketing, and Miriam Mohammed for producing our TikTok videos. So please visit, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to see all our past recordings. I am Shakira Mohammed from Trinidad and Tobago saying goodbye. May God bless you all. Dhanyavad.
Thank you all for attending and staying